Hello again, everyone. Welcome to a very special edition of the PC Secret Squirrels Week of How To. This is JD Life vs. Love coming to you once again in replacement of someone else. I'm filling in for Maria this week, who is currently studying for exams or something like that. Whatever. Anyway, I have a very special how-to for you. I have a how-to on how to be a geek. I'm very good at it. I figure I might as well inform you how to do it. There's several different connotations when you think about the word geek. Some of you might be thinking of the word nerd instead, which is very pejorative. And I'm going to give you some definitions here, which I don't have memorized, so I'm going to look away and read those to you. Wikipedia will give you the term nerd as a term that refers to an intelligent but single-minded person obsessed with a non-social hobby or pursuit, generally considered to be awkward, shy, and unattractive by most, although it is not always true. Thus, a nerd is often excluded from physical activity and considered a loner by others, or will tend to associate with a small group of like-minded people, although again, this is not always the case. I like that definition as what I'm trying to define, but there's some better ones. Wikipedia gives you geek as a slang term with different meanings ranging from computer expert or enthusiast to a carnival performer who performs sensationally morbid or disgusting acts. It's usually a bit more pejorative in that sense, the carnival sense, not the enthusiast sense. Urban Dictionary has nerd as one whose IQ exceeds his weight, which is true in many cases of the people I call nerds or geeks, and in myself. Or an individual persecuted for his superior intellect or skills, most often by people who fear and envy him. Particularly like that one. We have Urban Dictionary with geek as the people you pick on in high school and wind up working for as an adult. Not to be confused with nerd, a geek does not have to be smart. A geek is someone who is generally not athletic but enjoys video games, comic books, and being on the internet, etc. All these are decent definitions, but there's more to it than that. It's more than any one tag can define. So I'm going to generalize for you how I am a nerd, or geek, whichever one I use. The most obvious of forms that you're going to recognize a nerd and geek is often by their dress. As demonstrated in these following clips, there are several different ways to spot one. Their shirts can be campy. Their shirts can be true, but campy. Shirts can be awesome, should be awesome, will be awesome. Shirts can be classics. Shirts can be awesome and classic. And then, of course, there's the requirement. Another way I do this is I generally make attempts never to have a serious photo taken of me. Now, some of you might be thinking of nerds and geeks as the people who stay up playing Dungeons and Dragons for 3 days on end. We don't do that. They usually only last about 5-hour sessions or so. Another way to be a geek or nerd is to dress up. Like Halloween, for most of you, we do that a lot more often. We call it cosplay, which actually means you take on the attributes of the character and act like that character wherever you go. But there's several different ways to do it. You can do it from just dressing up as a generalization of a character, such as a pirate. Or you can go further with that, such as my costume with Captain Jack Sparrow, which I do cosplay very well. I am completely in character. Most of the time I'm in that costume. You can do things more obscure that some of you wouldn't recognize from animes, such as Cowboy Bebop's character Spike Spiegel. Or you can be classic and go with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Mace Windu. An almost essential feature of being a nerd or geek is your technical abilities. Some people would call us technophiles, which means we enjoy technology, and I very much do. I have built every single computer I've owned, except for my laptops. I didn't build those, but all my desktop computers I've built from scratch. I bought all of the parts and put them all together by hand myself. All of my laptops, though, are very well used. I can work on this video while I'm watching and listening to George Carlin, and I'm working on homework at the same time. Multitasking and extreme use of technology. Other ways that you can become a nerd or geek are to join organizations that aren't typically exciting to people. You can do things such as join Boy Scouts of America, which I did. And they do crazy things like camping in the snow. Or they might just sleep in their front yard for no reason. Yes, I earned my Eagle Scout. High school, great area for definition of nerds and geeks and all other sorts of cliques. Great way to define yourself as a nerd or geek is to play an instrument. Not guitar. And if you want to go further with that, you join band. If you want to go even further than that, you become the drum major. Nerds and Geeks rooms are varied in what they contain and their state of disarray or lack thereof. Some of us have OCD and like things to be clean. Others don't really care. I personally like things to be generally cleaned up. But their contents have some commonalities. There's usually swords. There's a lot of books, usually of the sci-fi and fantasy adventure genre, and any person that does not have Lord of the Rings in their book collection in their room, no matter where they are, is not a nerd or a geek, and I will contest that point to death. Other things that might not be so common are things such as sleeping with a sword next to your bed instead of a baseball bat. So, these are a few of the ways that I exemplify being a nerd or a geek, whichever term you want to define. I call myself both, depending on the context. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I will see you all later.